Hi, I'm trying my new film thing here, a new way to film it, so hopefully we'll have better results, and it'll be on YouTube. So how far we are is, this is about the Magic Loop sock. I've got my my flap knit, the heel flap, and it's called a flap because that's exactly what it is. It's a flap. So you'll notice that we have this square here, and again I showed you how to turn it like that to make sure it's long enough, and then we have this other stuff here. So now we're going to start going back and forth on the heel flap, and the directions, it's called the heel turn. It's short rows, and don't worry about this. I believe you go, let's see, I've got, I'll count how many stitches I have on here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. I have 26 stitches on here. So half of that is 13. So we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. There's a formula that you go 2 past the center. So that wasn't the center. That can't be the center. So if I have 26 stitches on here, here we go. We got to do math. Math isn't everything. So I have 26 stitches divided by 2, so half is 13 stitches is the middle. So 13, 14, so I should go 15 stitches. That's a formula that you just can use on anyone. So it said to end on a purl row. I did that. Let me put these back. Gotta find my other needle. Like I said, these needles are so twisted. Oh, now this is the wrong side, so apparently I have to purl this across. I thought I followed directions, but I lied. So you want to end up on the right side. I knit holding it close to my body. So this is like knitting out in the yard. I knit close to me. And for viewing purposes, I guess this would make sense. It evens out that slip stitch. Hopefully the mailman has gone through already, although I've got the air on, so the mouth from the north here can't hear. Well, he can still hear it. It's amazing what he can hear. I should put this in the center of the camera. Okay, we're almost done here. I knit continental, I pick. I'm a picker. You know what? It doesn't matter how you knit, how you hold your needles, as long as your stitches turn out all right. And people twist their stitches and they don't even know they're doing it. I did for years and nobody would tell me how to fix it. They didn't know what I was doing. I was purling wrong. Or wait, I was knitting wrong and I was sometimes straightening it out when I purled. Okay, so now I am going to untangle my yarn that I have quite nicely, oh, it's tangled up inside there. So the directions say for the heel, this is short rows, and they say you're just knitting or purling and turning before you get to the end of the row. That's it. It's not scary. Don't let people intimidate you. This is just a fun thing. So row on the right side, I am going to knit to what they say 16 in the pattern. So right size, knit to 16. Once again, I'm not holding it close. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I said 15, but the pattern says 16. I might have dropped a stitch somewhere in there, nothing new for me. Okay, so you get to 16. Now it says slip, slip, knit. And people get confused with this, but if you look at your directions, most patterns give you abbreviations. So slip, slip, knit means to. This is exactly what you do. It says it in the pattern. You slip one. I slip as if to knit. It says knitwise. Slip the next stitch knitwise, so I'm going to slip the second one, and then you go back and you put your needle in, your left needle into those 2 stitches, catch both of them, and you knit it. Okay, so what you're doing, it's a decrease. So you slip one knitwise, slip the second one knitwise, and then knit 2 together. And that's your decrease. So that's in your pattern. It tells you what to do. And if you go on YouTube, it helps you too. So then you knit one, and what that does is helps close the hole, and then you just turn it. You turn the whole thing. I'm trying to watch to make sure I stay on camera. Oh, look at that. Nice mess I got. So now I'm working back. I turned it so I've got a bunch of stitches on this side and more stitches on this side. The second row says, and that's the wrong side, slip one purlwise, purl 5. So I'm going to purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you purl 2 together. Purl 1, and then you turn it. So these are called short rows. So what we're doing is making a little pouchy part on the sock. Now you can see where your last one was. You can see this is reading your knitting. See that, oh, let me put paper underneath it. There is, I want to make sure you can see this. Where's the camera? Come on, focus. There's a gap right there. You can see it, it's right there. Let's see if I can zoom here. It's not letting me zoom. How can I zoom? Well, that wasn't good. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Well, that looks better. So see right there, that gap right here. And I'll show you what how that plays out in this. So row 3, I turned it, so row 3 I'm going to, make sure you keep your stitches tight. Knit one, slip one, knit 6. So I'm going to knit 1, 2. This looks so awkward for me. 3, 4, 5. And I'll show you where this brings you. It brings you 1 stitch away from that hole right there. It brings you one, there's 1 stitch here and 1 here. So then that's how you can know where you are. So now I'm gonna slip, slip, knit it as 1 stitch, knit 1, and then turn it. Basically what I'm doing is eating up all the stitches so that I'm going over the middle stitches over and over again until I get to the whole end of the sock, the end of the stitches. That made no sense. So now I'm going to purl. It says purl 7 for row 4. So you purl 2 to, oh wait a minute. You slip 1 purlwise, purl 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you purl 2 together, and you purl 1, and then you turn it. If you notice, the number of stitches you're working on is increasing every row. So the last one was 6, this one was 7. And what we're doing is making this little heel part back here. It gets more distinct after. Okay, so that was row 4. And you can mark these, but you can also read your knitting. Once you do, if you do a few more socks, and it says continue working each row in this pattern of knit 1, so I'm just going to leave it on. So the right side, I'm going to knit 8. But what do I do first here? Slip 1. No, slip, slip, and knit. Knit. Wait a minute. What did I do? See, I screwed up. No, it was just slip one, not slip, slip, knit. You know, I am going to give you a little hint. When you do this, go somewhere where nobody's going to bother you. Go somewhere and commit to this step. Actually, turning the heel is a good place to just tell everybody to get lost. Just saying. So I slip one and I knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And once again, I'm going to knit this one, and then it puts me 1 stitch away from that hole. You know what? I can move this closer to where I can knit more comfortably, I believe. Let me find the camera. There we go. So now on this row, I'm going to slip 1, slip 2, and knit those 2 together. That's a decrease. Knit 1 and turn. Now if you notice, it's getting less stitches on either side because we're knitting all the way across, and this is getting a pouchy. Let me see if how I can show you. That's your heel. Okay, then you turn it. I will have to straighten this out after. So the wrong side, I'm going to slip 1, purl 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I know I'm right because I've got 1 left before that, the space right there. Wait a minute. Where is the camera? Right here. Oh, look at the glowing fingers. The glowing fat fingers that are all swollen. Okay, so with this then I'm going to purl 2 together. Purl 1 and turn. And we're almost done. And you know, there might be different techniques for doing this. You know, knitting like spinning, there's a million different ways. There's no right or wrong way as long as your stitches turn out. That's all that matters. So you slip 1. I think I got to knit 10, I'm not sure. Where am I? Where's that camera? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now to check my work, I want to make sure I am 1 stitch away from the gap. So that means I am done. And I slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, then knit those 2. This looks really awkward. It isn't. It's just I'm knitting awkward. Then knit 1 and turn. Turn your whole work. I'm trying to stay in the camera lens, and so just, it's not hard. I need to put an X on the table, so stay here. So now the pearl, I'm going to slip one and purl probably 11. I'll check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and yes, it's 11. It keeps increasing. 1. And then I purl these two together. And then purl 1. And then turn. Now you should see a pocket forming, like a little elbow forming there. And that's short rows. And short rows are used in a lot of shaping, which is a good thing to learn how to do short rows, very honestly. So I'm gonna slip one, knit, I move so it'd be easier for me to knit, and I keep moving out there. So if that was 11, this should be 12. And I lost count. You don't have to count. You can look for that gap and knit to 1 stitch before the gap. But you can mark it down and then cross, mark, 20, whatever, and then check it off. Whatever makes you accurate. Okay, I've got one more, because there's my gap right there. So now I'm going to slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, knit those two, knit those two, knit 1, and turn. So now I'm all the way across. I'm telling you, these are the worst. I can work with these if I'm holding them where I want them. Well, that makes sense. But they're just all curled up and they're not easy to work with. All right. Now this one here, I'm going to slip one and then purl across. I'm sorry for the constant herky-jerky moving, but I want to stay within the camera lens. Socks are fun to make. I love turning the heel. And you know what? Some people do perfect jobs. On the next, okay, this is the stitch that the gap is right there. So I'm going to purl 2 together, purl 1. Because I have one left, I'm just going to purl the last one, and then I'm done I'm done with that step. So there we go. We got a heel turn. You can see it that way. There. See? No, you can't. There. And that's the pocket. I'm just going to keep turning it so you can maybe get a better view of it. There's a good view. It looks like a toe. Actually, when you use a sock machine, it is a toe. So, there, now the directions, what do the directions say next? We got the heel flap done, the heel turn. Then we start on the gusset. And the gusset, now we start working on the whole sock again. So the gusset, you start picking up, you pick up stitches along this flap side here. And that's it turns out it's a triangle then to get us back to the sock. I'm gonna back this up just a little, if I can. So what we have right now is the heel, the turn, the short rows, and now this is the cuff. Whoa, what do I got here? Oh yeah. It almost looked like I had the cuff on wrong. No. So what we're going to be doing is picking up this is the heel flap. This whole area here is the heel flap. And it's hard to see, but there's a triangle right here. And that's going to be the gusset. Let's see. It sits kind of like that. It's more of an isosceles triangle. So we pick up stitches along the heel here. Now, some people are really anal about picking up the slip stitches because you can see the slip stitches on some yarn. Some yarn you can't. I'm not that specific. I just pick up. I kind of measure, I measure it and pick up. So I'm going to do that in another video because I want to make sure that this is good and it uploads faster to YouTube. So onward. I hope this is helping you. See ya, and like my YouTube station, Jan Massey. Thank you. Bye.